In a world where we think we know our surroundings, where hospitals promise safety and neighborhoods seem familiar, some stories shatter that illusion, revealing chilling truths lurking just beneath the surface. These are not stories of the paranormal or figments of imagination. These are horrifying realities that unfolded in places we least expect. But before we start our story, smash the like button, make sure to subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. Case 1. The Vanishing Patient in the Ceiling. It was a typical day in Durban, South Africa, when Sandile Sibiya, a hard-working construction worker, suffered a painful injury on the job. His leg was badly hurt, likely broken, and he made his way to Mahatma Gandhi Memorial Hospital to seek help. He endured the slow-moving hospital routine, long waits, x-rays, the standard discomfort of emergency care. The results confirmed his worst fear, a broken femur. He needed further treatment and was told he'd be transferred to another hospital for orthopedic care. He was admitted to stay overnight until the transfer could take place. But when hospital staff came to retrieve Sandile for his transfer, he was gone. Not discharged, not released, simply vanished. The disappearance of a man with a broken leg from a secure hospital baffled everyone. How could someone with limited mobility evade medical staff, exit an institution lined with security guards, and leave no trace? A full search was initiated. Every room, every hallway, every security feed, nothing. It was as if Sandile had evaporated. The authorities were notified, and the case escalated. Search efforts extended across Durban, but not a single sighting or clue emerged. Conspiracy theories circulated, ranging from mistaken identity to an escape fueled by mental instability. But they were just that, baseless theories. In reality, the truth was far more disturbing. 10 days later, the answer presented itself in the most grotesque way. A foul odor began to spread through the hospital. It grew stronger by the hour until it became impossible to ignore. Staff followed the stench to a storeroom. There they noticed something leaking from the ceiling, fluid that hinted at decay. When they pushed into the crawl space above the tiles, they discovered a decomposing body. Sandile Sibiya. How had he gotten there? Why was he in the ceiling? The room was only accessible by staff. Sandile's leg was broken. There was no explanation that made sense. Authorities launched an investigation. Was it an accident? A cover-up? Foul play? Sandile was healthy, coherent, and by all accounts, in need of medical attention, not a hiding place. Hospital security protocols were scrutinized, and rumors swirled about staff negligence or even a hidden crime. But no definitive answers ever surfaced. Sandile Sibiya died just feet above those who were supposed to heal him, his body decaying in a place no one thought to look, until the smell forced them to. His case remains unresolved, a haunting reminder that even institutions of care can harbor chilling secrets. Case 2. The Stranger Living in Brian's House. In San Francisco's Soma neighborhood, Brian Egg was a familiar face. A retired bartender with a passion for community, he often cleaned alleyways and kept in close contact with his family, especially his brother, Devin. So when Brian suddenly stopped answering calls in mid-2018, alarm bells rang. Devin noticed the first oddity. Brian's phone was answered by someone else. A man who called himself Nate claimed Brian was walking his dog and would return the call. But that never happened. Weeks passed. Neighbors hadn't seen Brian. His home, usually active, now seemed eerily still, except for the appearance of two strangers entering and exiting freely. No one recognized them. No one had seen Brian. Devin and the neighbors urged the police to intervene, but initial visits yielded nothing. Officers knocked, but received no response. They assumed Brian had left town. The community knew better. One day, neighbors saw something deeply unsettling. Soap suds pouring from under Brian's door. The smell of bleach wafted out. The The two strangers had seemingly embarked on a deep cleaning spree. Shortly after, they were seen painting over parts of the home, including the front door, attempting to erase something. Concern intensified. Brian's sister officially reported him missing. Then, on August 14th, a crime scene cleanup truck was spotted outside Brian's home. But no investigation had been authorized. This time, the police acted. Inside the home, officers arrested Robert McCaffrey, one of the strangers. He had a suspicious amount of cash and had allegedly hired the cleanup company. Days later, a second man, Lance Silva, was arrested nearby. Both were charged with ID theft and financial crimes. They'd been using Brian's credit cards and impersonating him, but Brian was still missing. It wasn't until days later that police, searching the home again, found the unthinkable. Inside a storage space beneath the stairs was a large fish tank. It wasn't filled with fish, but with chemicals. And in those chemicals, a torso. The body had no head, no hands. But DNA confirmed what neighbors already feared. It was Brian Egg. Despite the gruesome discovery and mounting evidence, the charges against the suspects were eventually dropped. Brian's murder remains unsolved, his killers walking free. The fish tank beneath the stairs became his unmarked tomb, hiding in plain sight while his identity was stolen and his life erased. Hidden in plain sight. Part 2. In the quiet Dutch village of Ruinerwold, surrounded by peaceful farms and winding roads, life moved slowly, predictably. The kind of place where everyone knows everyone, and any disruption to the daily rhythm sends ripples through the community. So when a stranger walked into the local cafe with wild eyes and trembling hands, the town took notice. He looked disoriented, his clothes dusty, his body frail, and his gaze distant. Without saying much, he ordered 5 beers. One after another, he downed them, drawing suspicious glances from the staff. He returned the next day, clearly battling something internal, something that had weighed on him for years. Then, finally, he broke his silence. With a shaky voice and a look of desperation, he revealed that he hadn't been outside in 9 years. The man, later identified as 25-year-old Jan, told the stunned cafe owner that he had lived on a nearby farm, isolated from society with his siblings. He had 5 younger brothers and sisters still trapped there, all hidden away by a man he called their father. It sounded like the ramblings of a disturbed mind, but something in Jan's face, in his voice, convinced the cafe owner to alert the authorities. Police didn't know what to expect. Maybe a misunderstanding, maybe a squatter dispute. But what they discovered would stun the world. A secret behind the door. Officers arrived at the farmhouse located off the beaten path, almost invisible from the main road. To most, it looked abandoned. But inside, they found a room that seemed frozen in time. In that room were 6 people, young, dazed, and confused. All of them claimed to be adults, but investigators quickly realized they weren't. They were children, between 12 and 15 years old, trained to lie about their age and identity. None of them had birth certificates. None were registered with the state. It was as if they had never existed. For 9 years, they had been living off the grid, confined to a single space, hidden from the outside world. No school, no interaction, just silence, obedience, and fear. Jan was the only one who had dared to escape. But how had this gone unnoticed for nearly a decade? And who was responsible for orchestrating such an elaborate, cruel isolation? The Doomsday Cult. The answers pointed to a 67-year-old man named Gerrit Jan van D, believed to be the children's father. A former member of a fringe religious group, Gerrit had allegedly built a private world of extreme beliefs and control. But he hadn't done it alone. An Austrian man named Joseph B., a handyman and longtime acquaintance of Gerrit, had been renting the property. Locals remembered Joseph as reclusive, strange, but harmless. No one suspected he was helping imprison an entire family behind closed doors. Authorities soon suspected the 2 men were running what they called a doomsday cult. Their twisted belief system centered around survival, purity, and the isolation of their family from a corrupt outside world. Inside the farmhouse, investigators uncovered journals, schedules, and rituals, evidence of a strict and disturbing lifestyle. The children were forced to pray for hours, sometimes days. When Garrett believed one of them had misbehaved or was unclean, he punished them harshly. These weren't typical punishments. They were beaten with sticks, forced to sit in ice baths until they lost consciousness, denied food for days. At times, they were given only water while being commanded to expel imaginary evil spirits. This wasn't parenting. It was torture, a life in the shadows. What's even more chilling is how deep the secrecy ran. Garrett's older daughters, now adults, had escaped years earlier, but they never reported what had been happening on the farm. Whether due to fear, trauma, or control, they remained silent, allowing the abuse to continue unchecked. Despite everything found at the scene, neither Jan nor his siblings were initially able to fully explain how they ended up in isolation. Their minds had been shaped by years of brainwashing. For them, the farmhouse was the only reality they'd ever known. Authorities charged Garrett with unlawful detention, money laundering, and child abuse. Joseph faced similar charges, including suspicion of kidnapping. During court proceedings, both men remained largely silent. But the evidence spoke volumes. Diaries, financial records, testimonies, even blueprints of the compound. Still, many questions remain unanswered. Was there a broader network involved? Were others aware and complicit? What kind of psychological damage had been inflicted on the children? Damage that may never fully heal. Finding light after darkness. Jan's decision to escape wasn't just a cry for help. It was a heroic act. His courage brought to light years of hidden abuse. He risked everything to end a cycle that had defined his entire life. Today, John and his siblings are slowly adjusting to the world outside, learning how to interact, to trust, to speak freely. It's a long, painful journey, but it's one they no longer have to walk alone. The story of the Ruinervold family isn't just about survival. It's about resilience in the face of unimaginable control, about a single moment of bravery breaking the chains of a decade-long nightmare. Final thoughts. The three cases: Sandile Sibia's mysterious death in a hospital ceiling, Brian Egg's dismembered remains hidden in his own home, and the secret family trapped on a Dutch farm, are all connected by one chilling truth. The most disturbing horrors don't always happen in the dark. Sometimes they're hidden in plain sight, behind a hospital door, beneath a staircase, or in a house you pass every day. What secrets could your neighborhood be hiding? Stay safe, stay aware, and never ignore the things that don't feel right.